everyone, and welcome. This is Dee Osburn, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today we are making a Christmas shaker card. I love shaker cards. They're so fun. Just so fun. You just can't help but shake them. I just love them. They're just so fun and festive. So we are going to be making this cute shaker card today, but before we get started, I would like to say hello to my 5th grade class. Hello, students. I am a 5th grade teacher, and I have a great following with my 5th graders. They watch my videos, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to say hello to all of them. So hello, everybody. So glad that you're watching. I hope you like the shaker card. Alright, so let's get started. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let me know what you liked about the video. So leave a comment, and I will be sure to comment back to everyone who comments to me. Alright, let's see what we need to make this video. We will be using the all bundled up stamp set, and we will be using the moose, and we'll be using the sentiment "It feels a lot like Christmas." We will also be using the stamp set Very Best Occasions, and we will be using on the inside the sentiment "With a little more sparkle and a little less stress, let's make this Christmas the very best." I think that is such a cute little sentiment. And so we put that sentiment, or I put that sentiment on the inside. So that's what we'll be doing today, with a little more sparkle and a little less stress. Let's make this Christmas the very best. You're also going to need the Aspen Trees Dies. And these are really beautiful dies. My paper always sticks to it. There's a limb there, a tree limb. There's the bird and some leaves, and we are going to be using this piece to cut out our centerpiece to make the shaker card window. Okay, so that piece cut out this, the aspen trees. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that. So many uses for that I have in my head, and this is one of them. All right, so let's see what else we're going to need. You're going to need some gold trim and some embellishments. You're also going to need the Texture Chic Designer Series paper, and I used this piece. It looks like this on the other side. And this is the piece that I used for my background. All right, so let's see how I did it. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of Evening Evergreen. So let me get that. So here's my Evening Evergreen, cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we're going to, let's put this off to the side. Let's get our bone folder and make a nice crisp fold on there, and get our piece of basic white. So you need a piece of basic white, cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to stamp that with Evening Evergreen ink. Okay, so we're going to open that up, and we're going to use the little less sparkle, or a little more sparkle, with a little more sparkle and a little less stress. Let's make this Christmas the very best. And I like to stamp mine kind of up, because I like to write a message. But if you just want to stamp it in the center and then sign your name, that works too. You put it wherever you like. I'm going to stamp it kind of towards the top to give me just a little more room to write something down at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to close our ink. We will be using that again, but we can close it for now. And we're going to glue this to the inside of our card base. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and glue that to the inside. And if you use tape, that's fine. I like the glue because it gives me just a minute to arrange my card where I'd like it to be. Okay. And then we're going to take a piece of the texture Chic, and it is cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to glue that down to our card. Okay, let's do that. Glue that down to our card. All right. And just think about where you want your snowflakes. I like to see the white snowflakes, so I want them, you know, up where I can see them. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down. Then we took, I took, and we're going to do this today. You're going to take a piece of basic white, and this one is cut at 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, so that it's the same size as your card base. You want it to cover the whole thing, okay? And then you're going to take a window sheet, and it's cut at 5 1/4 by 4, just a tiny bit smaller than the white card base. It's the same, just about the same size as the piece inside, okay? And we're going to glue this down, but before we do that, we're going to sponge this piece. So I'm going to get my sponge dauber and my sponge. I need both of these. I'm going to do something with both of them. So with the sponge dauber, let's ink this up. Let's open up our ink. Get our evening evergreen. With the sponge dauber, I'm going to go around the edge so that it, you know, gives it a little more dimension, and it blends a little better with my card base and my card front. Okay, so it just blends a little bit better when I put it on there. So we're just going around and we're sponging that, giving it kind of a dark edge, a little bit of a dark edge, and having some of it come onto the card, and we can adjust it a little more as we make our card. But I like to see a little bit of it on there, okay? And I'm continuing to re-ink so that I get that dark edge. Now I'm not going to re-ink so much, okay? And I'm going to start in the center here. And actually, let me get a, I don't want to mess up my underside, so I'm going to get another little small piece of scrap so that when I sponge this, I'm not messing up my base paper. So I'm just brushing the edges of the trees, okay? Just brushing the edges of the trees, going both ways with it, all right? Going both ways with it. And I'm not really getting more ink until I don't hardly have any on there anymore. And then I'm starting in the center again, and I'm just brushing all those edges. I need a little more. Okay. Brush all those edges. Brush these trees. Give them some dimension. Just take your dauber and go across it gently and just kind of color those trees a little bit. Okay? Then you're going to get a sponge, and I put mine on a binder clip. The medium fits a little bit better, but I had a small one handy, so that's what I grabbed. And we're going to ink it up, get some good ink on there, and then we're just going to bounce. Okay? Just bounce along the edges of this, okay? Just bounce. I'm just giving it a little bit of dimension so that it's not quite so white. And that's it. And then as you make your card, once you put it together, if you think that you need a little bit more, you can put a little bit more. I like the edges to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe put just a little bit more. Whoops. This one doesn't fit on my finger very well. Just a little bit more along the edges. Can you hear my dog? My dog's talking. She's saying, oh, goodness. It's so rough being a dog. I would love, sometimes I think I would love to be a dog. As long as I had a good home, I think a dog's life is like pretty awesome. Okay, there we go. I like that. So, just give that a little bit. Oh, love it. Okay. So, I'm going to still need my evening evergreen one more time when I do my sentiment for the outside. I will need it again. So, all right, so now I'm going to glue this down. All right, and I'm just going to put some glue very carefully along the edge of my window sheet. Okay, very carefully along the edge of my window sheet, right on the edge, and then I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to place it over the opening of the trees. Okay? Making sure that it's completely covered because you do not want your sequins and things to leak out. So, okay. So there's that piece. All right, we're going to let that dry just a bit, and then we're going to do another piece that I want to dry for just a bit. So we're going to do this in stages. So the next thing that we're going to do is we can go. Let's go ahead and stamp our outside sentiment, and then we can be done with the evening evergreen. So I've got the stamp that says it's feeling a lot like Christmas, and I'm going to ink that up with the evening evergreen. I'm just going to stamp it. I'm going to stamp it kind of towards this side because you can see on the card I have it square on this side and pointy on that one. So we can go ahead and put this kind of close to this edge. Okay, so I'm just going straight down, holding it for a second, and then, oh, what happened? I kind of like that, though. You know what I can do? I kind of like that. I'm going to, on this one, it was straight. I don't know how it got all swirly on my block, but I kind of like it. And so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut it kind of swirly. I'm going to follow that and cut this kind of swirly. This one's going to be a little bit different, I think. So let's go ahead and do that. I like that. See, creating is so much fun. And this time I'm going to make it round on both ends. Look at that, how cute. I like that. I think I'll make it a little less. I'm going to go in and go out a little bit right there. There we go. I like that. All right, I'm going to throw my trash away. And I'm going to save this sentiment until we're ready for it. So we'll put that over to the side. Close this up. And we're done with our evening evergreen ink. All right. I can clean my stamp. So I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock, just a scrap, and I'm going to ink up my moose. He's so cute. I just love this moose. I just love, love, love this moose. So I'm going to ink him up. He just has the happiest, friendliest little face. He's just so darn cute. So I'm going to ink him up real good. You know, you check your stamp. Make sure you've got him inked up good. He's kind of a big stamp. All right, and I'm going to stamp him down. So we're going to use our Stampin Blends to color him. And then we're going to have to fussy cut him out. Okay, so I just went straight down and straight up. So I'm going to put him to the side, and I'm going to pull back my window sheet. I'm going to keep my sentiment off to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and put my foam strips on here because they're going to need to dry. This is going to need to dry. You use the foam strips on here, but they need to be reinforced with glue because you don't want your shaker card to leak the sequins out, and sometimes the foam strips don't hold as good as they should. So what we're going to do is we are going to put some glue along here, and we're going to put a big old glob of it along, just right along the edge of the window sheet, so that when we put the foam strip down, we can grab some of that glue on there. And let me turn this. I'm not getting this how I want it. Anyway, you can grab this glue and make sure that your foam strip is nice and connected to your window sheet, and it also reinforces the window sheet so it doesn't pull away. So let's get a foam strip. They just pull right off. I don't know if you've ever used these before, but they pull right off. And I like to start with the top and the bottom. So one side is, when you pull it off, it's sticky. And the other side has like a dimensional, you know, it has one of those, I don't know, covers? I don't know, you know, what you'd call it. But it's got a, you know, paper that keeps the sticky part covered. Okay, so we're going to put that down there. We're going to get our snips, and we're going to turn this, and we're just going to cut. I don't want to put my arm in the way. Let's turn it this way. I think this will be better. And we're going to cut it right where we're going to put the other one, okay? And then push that down. That's going to have to dry. Then we're going to use the other side because it's not quite long enough for here. Might be almost long enough, but not quite. We're going to put the other one here because it is definitely long enough for the bottom. And then we will cut that off. Just trim it down, okay? And you can use these as dimensional, so save those. Don't throw those away. You can pop your sentiments and things up with that. All right, so that's down. Then we're going to get another piece. Take another piece and just pull it off. And we're going to nestle it real good up against this foam piece and put that down. And we're just going to follow where that glue is and glue that down. And then we're going to push this up in there real good and cut it flush with the other one so that now you can push that one in there and there's no gap. You don't want to have a gap in your shaker card. So make sure that those two pieces come together at a right angle and there's no chance of leakage. Okay, if you think there might be a chance of leakage, just put a little glue there. But don't put the glue there until you pull the top part off. Otherwise, you've glued the top part down. All right, so let's get another strip. This one's not going to be long enough. We're going to save it. And we're going to get another strip and do the other side. Okay, so we're going to nestle it up in there. Nestle it real good. Follow the glue down. And push it in that spot. Cut it off flush. And then cram that down in there. Nice and flush against that piece. Make sure that you're not sticking off the edge. You don't want to see the foam piece from the front. Okay, You don't want to see the foam piece from the front. Got a little something sticking off there. Okay. All right, so we're going to let that glue dry. We're going to make sure that we're nestled in real good. You want to be nice and nestled in. Let that glue dry. Let those stick while we're using our dimensionals to color our mousse. So we're just going to move that to the side. Okay, oh, let's put this dimensional back on here. Because, where'd it go? Here it is. Because you can use these smaller strips. You can use them for dimensionals. You can use them if you have a smaller shaker card to do. Don't throw those away. Those are valuable. All right, let's bring our mousse back and let's color him. All right, so let's think about what colors to use. Okay, I have quite a few colors here. Some really fun options. So let's see what we have. All right, I wanted his face on this one to be really light, but I almost think it's too light. And that was this one, Light Pink Pirouette, which is an expired color. So I'm thinking this time for his face, I'm going to use Ivory. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to color his face first. Yeah, I think I like the Ivory this time. I'm going to go around his eyes, around the hat. Okay, and if you notice that you went into a place that you don't want colored, you can use the color lifter, because I went like into his eye a little bit right there, and a little bit right there, and I went on his teeth. I don't want his teeth to be like that. I want his teeth to be nice and white, and the color lifter just lifts that color right off beautifully. Okay, so we'll save that one out because we may need that one again. All right, so on this one, I colored with Light Evening Evergreen. I think on this one, I'm going to try the Dark Soft Succulent. Okay, so let's do that. And what I did was on his scarf, I colored every other square. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, I almost feel like the light soft succulent would be great too. And then I'm going to color his little pom-pommy hat here. The pom-pom part. Okay. Then I colored red. I used Dark Cherry Cobbler. Okay, all we have left now is the mousse. And for his antlers and his hooves and his ears, I used the Tone 400. So let's do that. Okay, and for his body, I used the Tone 500. Okay. So now he's all colored, and it's not going to matter that I went out of the lines there because I'm going to fussy cut, so I'll be cutting that off. I think I like his face this color. I like this a little bit better. This is just a little too light, I think, for me. So before we cut him out, let's check our I don't know, what do you call this? The base, the piece, the window piece. Let's check our window piece. Yeah, I can feel that it's really sticking, so that's awesome. Okay, put that to the side. And actually, I think we're going to go ahead before we cut this one out because we're going to have to use a little bit more glue and we want it to dry. So when you put, different people do this a different way. But the way I do it is when I put my window sheet on, okay, you know, you have to fill it, right? So when I put my window sheet on, I'm going to call it the window piece on. I can see that, so I'm going to trim that down. You have to fill it, so you have to leave yourself a place to fill it. I like to put it down, glue it down in all the spots except the top. Okay? And then I fill it from the top and then I glue it down. Some people like to put the stuff in the center and put this on top. I can never do that. I am not good enough to do that. Or put it here and glue this on there. It will be crooked and I cannot do that. So if you are talented enough to do that, great, you do that. I don't. They roll around, they get, it's just this huge mess. So for me, I'm going to show you the way I do it. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take off the strips on all the sides except the top. So I'm going to take off all the strips except the top. So the two sides and the bottom. And they're not hard to take off. The two sides and the bottom. Then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there because like I said before, and don't forget to not do the top yet. We will do it. But I'm just going to add some glue along the strip just to reinforce it because it has been my experience that it doesn't always stick that well. And I've had shaker cards leak, and that is no fun. Okay, and this is where you will put a little bit of extra glue down in the corner of these. And you can even do that in the corner of these now because you're going to pull that other strip off in a little bit, but it's okay to put that. You want that to dry. So we're going to take this and we're going to turn it over and we're going to attach it. It also gives you a nice place to hold, right? We're going to attach it to our card base and it's the same size as the card base, so that makes it easy. See how easy that was? And then I just make sure that I have it and then voila, it's on there. Now we're going to press it down. Okay, you don't want it to leak. You want it to be good and sealed. Okay, and remember the top part is not sealed yet, so that's a good thing. We're going to let this dry while we fussy cut out our mousse. Isn't it coming together nicely? I just love it just like that. Okay, so let's fussy cut out our mousse. And I cut very, very close to the black line when I do this because I don't want to see the white on this one. If you like the white, go ahead and leave some. I didn't want to see it, so I cut it off. And if you do leave a little bit of white, you can take a black or a you know, like a dark brown, like an early espresso dauber, and those edges, you know, swipe the edges and it'll take that white color away. So let's go ahead and cut him out. All right, so I have my cute little moose cut out, and the only place that I left a little bit of white was on his pom-pom, his little chinny chin hairs, around his scarf, and this tassel from his hat. So everywhere else I tried to cut the white off because that's just how I liked it. All right, so now we're going to double check our edges here to make sure that we're good and glued down. And now we're going to fill our card. And what I used to fill the card is I used these effervescent elements, which I love. one of my favorites. And then these are what are these called? Sequins for every occasion, I think is what they're called. Sequins for every occasion. Let me see, is that what they're called? They are called, I'll tell you, they're called For Everything Fancy. That's what they're called. For Everything Fancy. And they're just beautiful. So there's some pink shimmery ones and some blue shimmery ones and some green shimmery ones. I love them. And then the effervescent elements. And then these are retired. These were called subtle shimmer sequins. And so I use just a little bit of all of them. So what I do is I open them up. Okay, and I set them out for myself. So I have lots to choose from. And I just take a little pinch of everything. Okay, I'll show you. Let me get these open. I just take a little pinch of everything and put it inside my card. So as you can see that I have some pink in there. Kind of gives it some color. It draws your eye to the background. So don't worry that, pink might seem like, well, why are you putting pink in there? Okay, well, that's why. So it draws your eye to the background of what is being shaken around in there. So if you remember, we did not glue this down. So you just kind of squeeze and it gives you this nice little opening. All right, so I take a little pinch of this and a little pinch of this. Okay, and a little pinch of this. I'm just dropping it down in there. A little pinch of this. And a little pinch of this. Okay, and I just drop it all down in there. And then I kind of shake it and see what I think. What do you think? I think it's enough. You don't want it to be overloaded. Okay, you just want to be able to see a little bit of it. And then when you shake it, it's beautiful. Okay, so we're going to reinforce our edges again. Okay, and now we're going to have a little sequin right there. So let's get that in there. Get in there, mister. He doesn't want to go. He says, no, don't put me in there. All right, there we go. We got him in there. Almost. He's stuck to my hands. Okay, so now what we're going to do, you can take your pick tool or your scissors, and you're just going to pick this paper off the top. Then you're going to take your glue and you're going to reinforce the foam piece, the foam adhesive piece. Just putting a strip of glue along there, and you want to make sure that the glue is all the way across. You don't want any gaps. Okay, and make sure you reinforce that edge there. Okay, and then you're just going to close it. And make sure you go back and reinforce all 4 edges. Press them down. Okay, press down all those edges and press down the top. You definitely want to do that and hold it down there for a minute while that glue dries. You definitely want to make sure that you are glued down. You can see, you go along and look at it and make sure that you're glued down. Look at all the edges and make sure that you're good and glued down. You can open it up. Got a little bit of glue on there. Let's take that off. You want to be able to open your card. Okay, just a little bit of pressure along each edge to make sure that you're good and glued down, and especially the top because you just did that, and sometimes those sequins will get up in there and they'll get in the way. So make sure that you have that glued down really, really nicely. Okay. All right, we're going to put that to the side for a minute and let it dry, and then we'll double check it while we put the tops back on our sequins, because let me tell you, if you don't do that right away, you are going to end up knocking into them and spilling them. So definitely want them covered. Okay, and then you can put them out of your way. All right, let's re-look at this. See, I have a little bit of edge right there where it doesn't seem to want to glue down, so I'm going to hold that. I don't know if you can see that or not, where it's kind of, you know, coming apart right there. You definitely don't want it to come apart. Okay. Double checking all of it. This is the most important part, so take your time with this part of it. You don't want it to fall apart. You don't want it to leak. Okay. All right. And if sometimes, you know, sometimes because you put the glue in there, the little sequins get stuck on the edges, but that's okay. You've got plenty enough in there to float around and shake around. All right, we're going to put that to the side, or kind of just set that down. And we're going to think about where we want our moose and our sentiment. And we want some gold trim. So let's get our gold trim. Okay, here we go. Here's my gold trim. Or you could use silver trim, whichever you prefer. I kind of like the gold, but you could use silver. Let's use silver on this one. See which one we like better. You know, give it something different. We'll use silver this time. Okay, and you're going to wrap it around quite a few times. You want it to be fairly big because you want it to come out around the whole moose. Okay, so I'm going to do this like 4 times, I think. And then you just snip it off. Okay, and sometimes you have to unwind it because it gets all, you know, like a garden hose, when you wind up a garden hose, and the closer you get to the end, the more difficult it gets. And this stuff's kind of like that too. All right, now we're going to turn our moose over, and we're going to think about where we're going to, how we're going to attach it. I think we should just attach it to the middle, kind of maybe off to the side, his rump maybe a little bit. So I'm going to set that down. I can rewind that. I'm going to get my pick tool. Oh, it might be in the other room. I think it's in the other room. Okay, I'll use my scissors. And I'm going to get my glue dots. And I'm going to take 2 glue dots. And I'm going to put them on his body. Okay, I'm going to roll this up again. Okay, and I'm going to stick the twine to the 2 glue dots. There's no right or wrong way to do that. You just make sure they're stuck down. See, and now he's got this great twine around him. Now I'm going to put on some dimensionals. So I'm going to grab my dimensionals because I want him popped up. I'll put one in the middle of his body. I want one up here as high up on his hat as I can go without seeing the dimensional. And I think I'm going to get some, what do you call them, mini glue dots, and put them on his feet. Okay, I might have to cut these in half. So I'm going to do a half of a mini, okay, and put it on that foot. You don't want to see it, okay? And then I'll take this other half of mini. I'll put it on his other foot. Whoops, sticking more to my finger than it is to his foot. I'm losing a strand. Put that back down. I think that's probably good. Maybe we'll put a mini right here on his legs. Okay. Maybe I should have one right there. I think maybe a half of one right there. So take a half of one. put it on his. Maybe an even smaller piece. Trim those down so that they fit on his feet without being seen. Okay, now I'm going to take the backs off of these. Actually, I'm going to put one more, one on his antler over here. So we're going to take the backs off of these. A lot of times I use my scissors like I would tweezers. I kind of like them. Kind of like it. Okay, take the backs off of these minis. That one I already took it off of. One more. Get off of there, you. Sometimes it doesn't work. Okay. You want to make sure too that you don't have your twine in the way there, because you don't want it. You want it to be able to stick. All right, so after you glue your moose down, let's check the edges again. Check our edges. And then we'll get our sentiment, and we're going to use the minis for this. Or you could use one of those strips from the foam adhesive strips, you know, that wasn't quite long enough. You could put that on there too. And make sure that you're using every little bit of this, because these things cost money and you don't want to waste. Get your money's worth for sure. Okay. All right. Now we'll take the backs off of these. And then the last thing that we'll do, I know you know, if you know me, you know what it's going to be. Glitter. Whoops. Okay, so we're going to put this right about here. Okay, and I'm noticing that I got some glue on there, so I'm going to take this rubber eraser, and if you don't have one of these, I'll leave a link so you can go get one, because they're amazing. Look at that. Erased that glue right off of there. Love it. All right, reinforce my edges again. Okay, you definitely want to make sure that all your edges are done before you put glitter on there, because the glitter will get up under there and then the glue won't stick. Okay, but I love glitter, and I'm going to take my two-way glue pen, and I'm going to get my glitter over here ready to roll. Okay, and I'm going to glitter up a few things. I want maybe some glitter on the tree where the little edges, you know, the little divot things are, and maybe the smaller limbs. I want the pom-pom of his hat to be glittered, and maybe some of these accents. I'm going to put a little glue on the lines of his scarf, and put some little glitter like that. I'm not going to glitter his body, because, you know, Moose doesn't have glitter. But, you know, we could make him glittered, but I think that's all I'm going to do. All right. So I'm going to put the glitter on him where I had it, and on my Aspen trees. And then I'm just going to tap it off. And then I have my handy dandy brush, which I love, and I'm going to brush off the glitter that it sticks to the window sheet. So I want to brush that off. And I love it when it gets down like in the corners like that. That's okay. I just don't want it right here blocking the view of the shaker card, right? Okay. There we have it. There we go. Oh, love, love, love it. All right, I want to do one more thing. And that is, I want to add some little elements. On here I used opal rounds, and on this one I'm going to use these 2021-2023 in color opal rounds because they have the matching colors. And I don't think it says on here what colors they are, but I know that these two colors match. I want to say it's Soft Succulent and Evening Evergreen. I'm not positive, but pretty sure it is. All right, so let's do that. Let's, since my take your pick tool is in the other room, I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm going to put, I can't put one on the sentiment because, you know, I didn't do that this time. I didn't leave myself any room on there, but that's okay. I'm going to put a big one and a little one. Okay. I could use this dark one. It would be super cute too. I'm going to put a big one right here. I'm going to put, oops, that glue piece didn't come with. Let's make sure we get that. Okay. I'm going to put a big one. I think I'll put the big one there. And I'm going to put a little one right there. And one more big one right there. Okay, let's look at it. How cute is that? I think the only thing I would have done differently is I would have pulled this twine in a little tighter. What do you think? What do you think? I love it. Look at it. See all the little things rolling around in there? I don't know if you can see them very well, but yeah, there we go. So let's see. Tell me which one you like better. Do you like the gold twine better or the silver twine better? And I wish it was a little tighter. Do you like the opal rounds or the in-color opal rounds? I like the in-color opal rounds. But I think I like the silver twine. I would have liked it to be tighter. Other than that, I love it. What do you think? There's the two. Oh, so cute. So cute. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that you will go out and use your mousse and make yourself a fun shaker card. These are so fun, especially to give to children. They just love it, and you just can't help but shake it when you hold it. I think I like his darker face better. So leave me a comment. Let me know which one you like better, which elements you like better. And I hope that I've inspired you to make some kind of fun and festive Christmas something with the things that you have. So I do hope that you will come back and see me and have a great rest of your day. Until next time.